Yep. Sometimes life can be tough. How's it going, everybody? It's me again, Ryan Matthew Ayers, Rigsall Wombo. Ha! Alright, well, I'm stuck up here at Rainbow Park. I was going to drive somewhere earlier, but apparently I left my lights on. So I got stuck in this spot, which allowed me to continue to reply to that person about the agitation, the different dissonance and frequency that was going on last evening. And really process a lot of different informations. Leave myself to wonder on certain questions that are certainly helpful in the navigation of my path from this point, from learning whatever it is I have questions to learn about, so I'm able to transfer that information through the learning, through experience that may be of benefit to other beings through either the video channel or in direct experience and meeting with them personally in conversation, or however that goes. I'm learning a lot of different things. Some beings being extremely receptive, some beings not being extremely receptive. When I found out that relationships actually cause like this weird dissonance in frequency to the transference of information, I tended to stray away from those things. Recently, I thought, hey, maybe it's possible to meet a being that's on my level and also be able to spin with one another, grow and expand. Turns out that I'm a very, very developed and fast frequency, and so I now know a better way to refine what it is I'm looking for and what it is I want, and then how to attract that in some way, shape, or form. If it be necessary, I'm still going to look and determine about that. I mean, I had a really amazing experience, and this is not a meeting that doesn't happen normally or typically, so hey, I mean, it did put me in the position to be able to help a being that's kind of in a hermitage and wouldn't really receive this teaching unless somebody got this close to them. So that's cool, and I provide these teachings for many people. I do always wish that they be smooth, but whenever you're calling out ego or reflecting somebody's ego identity, it can be very difficult for them to see that. They get all combative and everything, like competing, attacking defense energies, a lot of projection energy, saying that you're the one projecting, and all these other things, and originally I was thinking that they were right. You know, I really had to look at myself for quite a long time, maybe in a year or like a super long time. And now I'm able to process information a little more quickly, which is super beneficial for me personally, coming to a place of peace because I happen to be of hypersensitivity, caring about everything in the way in which I'm perceived by it because of the way in which I actually wish to be reflecting to it. So if something tells me I'm out of my truth or I'm wrong or my intuition's incorrect, then it leaves me like, oh no, you know, that's the only way I navigate and guide myself is through trusting the expression coming through me as I'm an empty being, and the limitlessness that's happening through the present moment as I surrender, trust, and allow. And so beings like to project things onto me as a doer. They're like, this is you, and this is what you're doing. It's like, well, actually, you know, I'm actually a limitless mirror that just expresses in the moment. I don't have an ego identity, so you don't see me making art pieces. You don't see me doing all kinds of other things. My art is my being itself personally. And not to say that I couldn't draw or something. That would be kind of cool if I did. If I start painting or drawing or something like that, I would really dig that. But it's just, I don't ever do anything that's only for myself. I'm not, you know, doing things that are like chilling there. I do everything in a way that's to be of the greatest possible benefit to the optimum amount of reality, capability, or however it is to be perceived. I really wish to be exponentially growing and help other things do this as well, to the fastest way in which I can possibly do this. And, you know, this could be this way or that way or however it seems, but it really is important to me. You know, it's important to me, my surrender, that I'm not directing myself. People would like to say that I am an ego, and then that would make me wish to refine or direct myself or see this or that or the other, but I've seen by constantly observing my present reality and being ridiculously fearless in my expression how I am not this, how I'm not that, how I'm not doing anything, and how I'm constantly in the perfect flow always by just trusting the expression coming through me purely as not me. And that's a huge deal. And so I do get into these points to where it's like, whoa, this person's saying this, 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 and this, and then I'm like, shoot, is this stuff true? What's going on? And then I have to remember back, okay, how was I doing? What was I doing? What was going on? What was I feeling? Why was I feeling? What was this? What was that? What was that? And through expressing everything really clearly, I come to a really clear point of really understanding what was occurring. Not that I wasn't having, that I wasn't having any feelings, thoughts, or ideas in the times, but checking out what those were, what those intentions were, what was going on exactly. If I have a thought or a feeling, it usually relates to something that I'm not expressing about in the present surroundings. So maybe I see something and I start to determine something about it. I start to contemplate it, and that's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay. Thoughts are not the enemy. Contemplation is not the enemy. knowing what expression is to be expressed and what expression isn't to be expressed. How do I know that? Well, typically I literally just express everything upon the point of needing to express. Like if I were to have a thought, I would wish for it to be expressed, whatever it is, you know. So I determine that. There's things that aren't expressed because of listening and this, that, and the other. And I have constantly wondered, it's like, should I listen or should I just express immediately? Whatever it is that I'm doing is exactly perfect, but there is definitely something that I'm learning from it. So I'm always consciously aware. But I'm at a point of learning from my expression that doesn't really have the other subtle backdrops to learning. But I am open to learning in those same ways that I've learned before. You know, maybe there is a possibility of me missing something. Surely. That's possible. Why not? I mean, it comes to me to seem that I'm not actually doing anything. So there's not really anything for me to be missing. The only thing that I could be missing is not expressing myself fully, truly, and trusting that my expression is exactly what I need to be expressing, as it's shown me constantly, forever, in every moment, for the past many years. And been really bringing me into a sustainable frequency to allow myself to do that in a way that's fearless. Instead of like directing or focusing like, okay, I need to be this way or that way, I be always any way in which the moment has me be. So I really think it's interesting, you know, all the different things that are coming through, all the different projections, and how, man, nobody can see me. I'm like, goodness gracious, can you not see the mirror in front of you? Of course they can't. They can't see themselves. How can they possibly see me? If they could see me in the clarity that they can see themselves, then, man, that would be amazing. And if I do find a partner, that is what I am looking for. So now I've been moving through, okay, now this is the next relationship scenario where it's like, okay, I'm getting closer to meeting myself. I'm getting closer. But still missing a bit. Been one with emotion. I've been one with the higher understandings. I've been one with a really sweet funness. I've been one that's really super close now. Kuan Yin empowerment. That was cool. Still not all the way where we need to go with that, but that's okay. Super open to it and feeling like a stallion, baby. But anyways, that doesn't matter. Because it still created this strange reverberation and frequency that I need to be aware of and need to be looking at and want to really be understanding more deeply. Okay, so is it wrong for me to be in relationships? No. I mean, that was cool. That worked out fine. I mean, I can't see how it would work out any better. I mean, it would never happen again with that particular being, but that's okay. Not a big deal. We're going to figure out why and what's going on with that through the introspection, self-reflection, the self-contemplation. Man, these things are so fast, too. It's kind of like a mala or any kind of necklace or anything I wear. You know, you would think that I would need the crystal on me for a long time for me to take upon its frequency, but as it turns out, they break away from me really quick. I usually can't even stay on me for more than a day. Who knows for sure? Maybe just a day, a couple days. It's not long before I supercharge the energy and it breaks away from me. And that happens with every meeting that I happen to have. I mean, it's like, goodness gracious, how is this possible? Even one of the beings that I actually had a really great understanding with, they wanted to punch me in the face, they said, was how they were alerted to there might be some potency in what it is that I was saying. And then I started to challenge them, and that's when they really started to realize that, oh, wait a minute, I need to start really understanding what this guy's saying. And it actually went really well, and it led to a place to where they realized nothing they ever did was wrong, and they were laughing. And I was like, yes! Man, that was like the biggest success. So sometimes we have really large successes really quickly, really immediately through the patience of the moment, and sometimes it's not possible because there's way too much resistance in the other person, and so they're unable to come to a place of clarity with it in that moment. Some people are more developed than others, and so it just depends. It's not for me to decide. I don't know exactly where you're at or your level of receptivity. I have to just trust the moment and what comes through me. Sometimes I'm able to smile at you. Sometimes I'm not able to smile at you. Typically, I'm usually able to smile at you immediately, but also like, whoa, what are you doing there? That's weird. You know, why are you looking at me all crazy? I mean, sometimes I'm, you know, how do I need to be? But I don't choose this. I'm just surrendered to this. So for anybody else who finds himself in this kind of a placement, shape, or form, you know, we're awesome, bro. Don't worry about it. Trust. And, you know, if you need to worry, then worry. You know, whatever needs to happen. But soon you'll come to a place through trusting the frequency and trusting the surrender that you'll be able to stand sustainably and realize you're not the doer. No matter how many times, whoever it is that you hold their their ego in high regard. You don't have to believe them over yourself. You can trust your own intuition. You can trust that, yeah, you know what, you do know where you are. And for all of you that are trusting your ego, there's a part of you that doesn't trust it. I know it. Don't fucking lie to me. And you can. I mean, it's fine, but I'm going to notice it. But, yeah, anybody who's flimsy in that way, they're going to feel the flimsy, you know, even if they stand strongly in it for a moment. Later on, it's going to be like, I don't know, because it's not strong. It's weak. It has no solid foundation. It's going to fall. So, if I'm that way, then I guess one day I'm going to fall. And that's cool. Thank goodness for that. Because, geez, would I really want to stand on shaky ground for forever? Absolutely not. That would be ridiculous. I want to stand on the firmest foundation possible. And I happen to be the embodiment of that firmest foundation. So, bam! How did I find that out? Through a ridiculous amount of medicine ceremony, through a ridiculous amount of observation of my reality, through a ridiculous amount of releasing of any kind of ego identity, ego want or desire, pleasure in any way, shape, or form that's led me to live on the street, on the concrete, inside of these really terrible, difficult, fearful situations, fear of lack, starving to death, this, that, and the other, learning this, that, and the other, constantly, and never taking myself out of it. You haven't seen me at once give myself any kind of way of reprieve, aside from when I went out to Eau Valley, but still the mind was constantly with me, you know. You can act like your surroundings change the way in which you're going, but guess what, man? Your mind is always with you, and so, it was beautiful, man. Beautiful to reach a place of stillness and be able to recenter inside of my own frequency and be like, you know what? Oh, man, I do know where I am. I am the bomb. I already did do this. I was empty before. When I allowed the universe to move me, then it continued to move me, and there was nothing that I had to do, as I am not doing anything. I am not the doer. I released the doer mentality. I released the manipulation control aspects. I gave away all my control and allowed myself to see that I had no control, that I wasn't a doer all the time, always, in any way. That this whole entire time, I haven't been an ego identity. I've been molded and shaped by everything else in this movement around me, by the karmas of everything. And that's how you can really understand what it means to have dharma, to have teachings, to have wisdom, to what it means really, truly to be wisdom and compassion embodied. It's a phenomenal thing, I gotta tell you. It's a really wonderful, amazing blessing to be able to understand these teachings to this realm and capability. And it's something that's really hard worked for. It's not something that's just been given freely out of nowhere. Like, I've had the choices to be made and made the right choices constantly. Did I really choose those personally, or were they choose for me? I don't know. I can't really tell you. I know that I was able to see the two different options, and being aware as the observer, I knew which option I made, and I knew that it was the correct option to be made. So I can relay that information to you now today for anyone in any way that needs the coding to be able to make those right choices and those right decisions in an educated manner, in a way that comes from a place of understanding and a place of true knowing. Oh, okay, so instead of doing something that's harmful, I could do something that's beneficial. Whoa, but even if you were to do something harmful, it would become beneficial, because eventually you would learn that it was harmful, and then you would be able to transfer that information to other beings that you see harming themselves unknowingly, ignorantly, innocently. And it's an amazing thing. I can transfer a ridiculous amount of wisdom and teachings to a being, but the second I start to, like, touch on where their ego is the moment they no longer see me as a wisdom being. It's amazing. It's a phenomenal thing. I can't even believe it. They're like, wow, he knows all these things until now. Whoa, hey, you don't know shit about me, bro. I know everything about myself, as it turns out, especially on all these levels. What I don't know about myself is not typically something that I ever see coming to me in my present reality through the expressions around me. That's crazy. I mean, typically, anybody around me is somebody that I get to teach and help them with the things that I already know about myself. And the things I don't know about myself, I go into medicine, ceremony, into pure consciousness itself, and it teaches me, because there's nothing around me that can reflect me. If you can come and reflect me, please do so, okay? I am not saying that it's not possible, but it's not something I have ever met. Lama Gyaltsen reflects me, but not in the manner and capability in which I'm able to reflect me, and so he's able to reflect me some. But I really wish he was able to be real on this level with me, but I can overcharge him too, I think, but who knows for sure. I don't know, maybe it's arrogance that he's waiting for me to be released. Who knows for sure. He never ever says that. He only says that I'm pure and that I'm there, and tells me to clean up energy the same way that he does. tells me that I'm a lineage holder and that I'm the same as him, that I'm a Lama as well, that I'm a Rinpoche as well, that I was brought by Nimkoli Baba in my dream to the level of the Dalai Lama, and then so on and so forth, further on, as much as whatever could be, and not even able to be really perceived to me what level it was that he was bringing me. And it was amazing, all these different teachings and all these blessings and anointings of energy that have been coming to me through the dream realm, through the physical realm, through all the realms, and have been perfectly reflecting all the different things that I need to have reflected for me and not against me. I'm super grateful, super satisfied, super happy, super with all the different things that could be occurring, and I'm really, really blessed by all these phenomenal teachings that get to be relayed through me. I do always wish to, it's like, man, can I go more deeply? Man, can I receive more deeply? Man, can I give more deeply? Are there any beings that can actually stand with me and tolerate me and learn from me, or is it always going to challenge their ego identity in such a way to where they wish to be away from me? It's like, goodness gracious, what can I do? How can I do this? What can I do to be helpful? You know, I guess it just seems so darn difficult. I mean, nobody really ever seems to be able to stand with me truly, completely wholly. I wish that they would, though. I wish that they could. But that's alright, not a big deal. We're moving through, and I'm self-sustainable. And it's wonderful. Thanks for letting me express this. This is a point in the path that needs to be expressed. This is a point in the path that's helpful to be expressed, because we all get to see the inner workings, how we're moving through this, how we're moving through that, how it's moving through us, the process of development. This is important, because a lot of people aren't showing their developing stages. A lot of people are only showing, you know, the end result, or whatever that is, and you know, them in their greatness, them in their sustainability. And greatly am I centered and balanced in the way in which I'm moving through these things. But I like to move through them with you. And I don't always do this, but I can see how it is of benefit whenever I'm able to. So thank you so much for bearing with me and being with me in these amazing points and processes. And surely anything that I have to say or state or put out into the ether is a benefit in some way, shape, or form to whoever it may be that identifies with it. If you're able to share these things with other people, then awesome. If you really think that they're potent, then please do so. You know, the more people that these can reach, the better. It also seems that not many people are really interested in it at this time. But hey, maybe one day in the future, when, you know, I'm developed in such a way to where people can see that I've obviously traveled the path of wisdom, maybe they'll be wanting to know these different ways in which I got here by seeing these true reflections and how they come into the present reality. And I will direct them to it too, because I mean, goodness gracious, how much can I give? How much can I give in any present moment? I want to repeat myself always. I'll repeat myself constantly, actually, as it turns out. I don't even remember that I'm really repeating myself. Sometimes I do, but every time that I do repeat myself, I get better at articulating it. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. It's awesome that it's coming through in this way. And sometimes when I'm repeating myself, it's not as good. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Typically, I can say this in a really cool way, but apparently this is the only way in which it's able to be received, and so this is the way in which it's coming through me. If I could say all the conjunctions, I'd say them, but instead I had to like skip from here to here to here to here, and I have to say it like in another way because they're only able to listen to this level of capability. And so if I want to actually have the teaching come through me, I got to be able to give it in a way that's up to par with the level of receptivity of that who is viewing. And that's pretty cool, man. Apparently anybody watching this is able to receive in a pretty cool way, a pretty awesome direct manner. That's another reason why I like to state it in this way through this channel, because it feels so free and so good. It's like, wow, nothing's really blocking me. There's nobody receiving, so there's nobody observing too hard, causing me to be like skipping from this point to that point or whatever it is, losing myself here, 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 here. I don't really lose myself anymore. I gotta say, I'm pretty damn centered at this point. I've really found myself pretty amazingly through this last past medicine ceremony that really helped sow these things in my being. It was a while ago now, actually, that this happened, and what do you know, here it is, still with me, just completely exuding a phenomenal, centered, amazing frequency. I don't know, I guess it just never leaves, it just continues on being awesome. And I don't have to sound like this, like, whoa, what's going on? No, I can just like actually be a real person, here in the present moment, completely intelligent, here present now, understanding all the things that are going on with Trump and Biden and all these different political games and all this ridiculousness and that, there, and the other. I'm not up in the clouds. I'm right here centered in the earth with all of you, you know, existing as the middle way, the flame and the lotus, the jewel is in the heart, you know, the bridge between the heavens and the earth, just sit there exuding that constantly as everybody is. It's amazing. So I can actually relate with you right here. Whoa, 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 what's happening? I'm sitting in the front seat of a van. It's raining outside. I'm in Rainbow Park. It's technically Makawao, Hawaii, but I kind of feel like it's more, yeah. But I guess it is technically Makawao. Right past Makawao Union Church. Yeah, there's amazing dragon fruit patches across the way there. They don't ever seem to be fertilized, so there's never dragon fruit on them. But that would be cool if somebody went by and started fertilizing them and they started bearing good fruits, and we could go and pick dragon fruit right from Rainbow Park. Man, that would be crazy bomb. It makes me feel like doing it. Actually, gotta tell you the truth. I'm like, wow, how do you fertilize these suckers? I think they got to be hand fertilized. So it's like, how does that happen? Well, couldn't say for sure, but it'd be so cool if they were. Also, looks like the foliage has really gone down right there. I wonder why. Is it dying, or somebody come and trim it up? Looks like they would have to have done it from this side. Maybe they did. Maybe like the street workers or something. Huh. Anyways. So, waiting for a friend to come and bring some jumper cables and give me a jump and send me on my way. As it turns out, I left my lights on, as I had stated in the beginning of this video, and so I'm stuck here. And it's perfection, I guess. I mean, I got to make this video, I got to transfer all this information through those text messages. People are constantly trying to exert their power over me, and it's going to be very difficult because, as I said before, I'm not a chooser, guys. I'm not choosing. I'm literally prompted by the moment. I can't even stop until it lets me stop. I mean, you be sure that when I stop, it's because the moment and everything entirely has me stop. It's like definitely the perfect time for me to do that. I don't choose. That's how I'm always in the perfect placement all the time, able to see perfection in the manner I am always and always. So, I mean, you could do this too yourself. 3327 just passed by to give me another message. 27 right there as well. It was 2127 when I said that right after the 3327. And so it's here giving me constant messages and viewpoints that I am utterly in perfection always without any, fault of my own, by just trusting constantly. And I try to relay, the messages of this trust, how to actually walk in faith. A lot of people are determining everything and really scared all the time, like, do I need to be here, do I need to be there, but they don't really understand what it means to, walk in faith and not by sight. And so I do my best in transferring that information, but, it can be extremely difficult, as it's scary as fuck to do this. I mean, I didn't get this way because I was a coward. Got this way through being very brave. So right now we're having ourselves in a point in time where it looks like my phone's about to die. Alright, so I got some options here. I can use my charger to kick it on, and that's the option I think I'm going to do, is use my charger here, my external battery charger I've been charging, and get us back in action. Oh yeah, it worked. Awesome. So that's good news. Yeah, that's a quick solution. I was trying to think, like, should I just cut out the transmission? Should I stop? Or should I keep going? Okay. And soon we're going to get back to those videos about the energy flow and all the different teachings that came from that. I'm pretty sure we were at the point of talking about spinning the energies together through acceptance and through love, through gratitude. I don't know if we really got all the way to that point, or if we simply got through the surrender as to the perfection of the flow that led me to Maui, that led me to that moment where that person was able to release my energy through the very super simple act of unconditional love for all beings, and she just gave me unconditional energy from the female one time in my life, and that allowed me to cry and break through. I needed the female to give me that because I had always been harmed by the female, so it was the only way in which my energy was able to forgive the female. And it was through, asking for forgiveness, which is something that was very hard for me to do, coming to confession with the female and why I was turned away from her, and then the asking for her to give to me unconditionally, without any want for anything in return. And she did that unconditionally. She unconditionally loved me, gave me unconditional love for the first time in my life from the female, in a way that I could understand it to be, really high frequency. And that set me free. I was repeating myself, thank you, this is all I ever needed, thank you, this is all I ever needed, thank you, this is all I ever needed, constantly over and over. And for me, she was my Lord and Savior. She saved my life completely, and my brother was there and she was there, and they were able to reflect both halves of my mind. And that was amazing, a really phenomenal thing. And so yeah, I don't know if I went into all this part of the teaching or not, but I do wish to go into it, and so I'm wondering if this is actually the application to do that. I guess I could, in some way. Just because, we kind of started on a different level or wavelength, so it kind of makes me feel like I should break over to another video so that I can be more pointed in that direction for that one. Because, in that one, I understood all energies and all frequencies to be the same energy, to be perfect entirely. I was no longer fighting the shadow in order to destroy the shadow. I was weaving with it, polishing it, giving it unconditional love and acceptance as the wisdom being that it is, realizing that I caused it to be the way that it was through my judgments, through my wish to separate from it, to detach from it. I was saying I wasn't an angry person. I wasn't allowing anger to flow through me. And so anytime anger hit me, as I'm a conduit of energy, as we all are, we were constantly moving energy for the whole of everything, as we are the center point of it. The only way it can move from above to below is through the center, that is us, our transistors, or however it is that we wish to see, our transceiving. We're moving the energy constantly, allowing motion for all beings through us. That's why we're so important. We're the middle way. We're the center. And it's an amazing thing and a gift and blessing that we get to do. But we can decide to impede upon that flow with our ego identity. And we can decide, no, this doesn't get to go through. No, that doesn't get to go through. Or we can allow all things through without being impeded by our ego identities, by our preference. And then it moves through smoothly, wisdomly, beautifully, amazingly, angelically. But we create it to be a demon when we try to separate it from the whole of everything, when we try to cut off a wave of energy from the flow of life, its natural flow of life. And so I've been able to find where, these things were occurring inside of me, and one of the ways was anger. And so I was finally able to allow sadness to purge through all of the sadness, all the pain, all of the suffering, be cried out of me, uninhibited by me in any way, uninhibited by my fear of what others were. So that's why the other two people were important to that meeting, because both the male and the female were there, and I was able to cry and be vulnerable in front of them, open my heart completely in front of them, which allowed me to be able to reflect that I was able to do that with all beings everywhere without one exception. And so this was huge, because maybe I could cry by myself, but I needed to be able to cry in front of others. And so this was a giant gateway. I was completely vulnerable. I was in a sarong. My legs were widespread. My balls were showing. My penis. My friend was there. And this was huge, like a state of complete, utter vulnerability, crying the deepest wailing cries. Did you ever see the greatest weakness that I could have ever thought of myself showing? Complete vulnerability, 100% vulnerable. And that's exactly what was needed. And then after that, I was moved into anger, into expressing the anger fully, growling and doing all this. And this freed that energy. So I could see all of these lines of energies as cycles, as tendrils, as the centers of toroidal fields, as tubulars. And I could see where it had been clogged at one point, and then I had opened it fully. And so, like cholesterol around a vein, I was releasing all of that cholesterol, all of that tension, and so now all the red blood cells could flow through smoothly as they were meant to, and so I was able to express them all the way, and so they were very built up, and through my raw expression of them, I was able to move them through really powerfully, really simply, really amazingly. They moved through really quickly, boom, 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 powerfully, with all these amazing hand motions and mudras that went with expressing their energies fully. I was even brought into one point in expressing these energies to a yogic stance that felt like it was going to break my back, but I went all the way through it, and I followed all the way through, regardless if it broke my spine or not, and luckily it didn't break my spine. And that allowed me to realize that I really needed to begin yoga practices. I really needed to begin practicing energy movement in all kinds of different ways, shapes, and forms, as it was important to me to do this. As it is important for me to do this, or one day I may be moved into a movement that I'm unable to do and literally break my spine. And so that's really cool, really amazing, really wonderful. And I'm super blessed to have felt that, to have realized that, to be in a place where I could understand that. And I'm super happy now to be able to express this with you today. And something's going on with my eye right now. I don't know, it hurts. Right over here. I wonder if it's the way I slept on it or something that has recently occurred. I'm getting an infection, what's going on? Usually I don't have issues with my eyes. Maybe it's something to do with the light. Some way I've been looking this whole time. Like, maybe I've been retracting one of my eyes. I don't know. It's interesting. So, moving all these energies through. And I'll probably bring this into a more deep teaching later, but this is apparently what needs to come through at the end of this message for some reason. So whoever's viewing this, I guess it's relevant to them, and I'll make another more precise message about this later that helps other beings realize it as well in a maybe more specific way. I kind of like to get through things kind of quickly because there's so much to say. I have a lot to bring out, and there's a lot that I can expound upon. If anybody finds anything that they have questions about, they can be sure to ask me, and I can bring in greater detail later. And yeah, I'm totally happy with doing that. It actually fills me to give this. The more I give, the more I receive. And so it's an endless toroidal field generator, a phenomenal free energy generator. Tesla's an instrument of empowerment. And it just happens right through the source point that is the Philosopher's Stone, which is ourselves. And we can reach and access this information through the frequency of unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception. Closest thing I can use in the English language to describe the center frequency, the fastest and tightest frequency, the center vibration in the center of the toroidal field. Yeah, the bridge between the heavens and the earth, the jewel that is in the lotus, the flame that is in the heart, the wish-fulfilling jewel. And, well, I love you all so very, very, very much. My friend is here. Let's do it. That's awesome, and I love you all. Thank you for everything. I wanted to bring this to 33 minutes and 22 seconds, but hey, we got what we got. I love you. Thank you. Aloha. Mahalo. Mitokuye.